And joining me is Shannon Briggs. She's a toxicologist with the DEQ and in charge of coordinating beach monitoring in Michigan, which has got to be a huge job. Shannon, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you.
So go ahead and tell us what that all entails when you have to keep track of every beach in the state of Michigan.
Well, the DEQ is partnering with all of our local health departments. The local health officer has the authority to make these decisions because we're talking about a decision that affects public health. So this is a really interesting piece of data. The water quality data, the bacteria levels, are impacting our public health decisions. So we like to partner with all of our local health departments to help them get the best tools, these forecast systems and the water quality, the rapid testing, and help them monitor their beaches with the best information so they can make these decisions that impact our communities. But also we want to help them find the sources of these contaminants. That's really key. A lot of the new rapid methods can help us find these sources along with the forecast systems, because in order to understand how the water is impacted, once we find all of the things that impact the water, then we can start pointing to some of the sources so we understand the relationship. And then that helps us identify, confirm those sources, and then mitigate them, eliminate them, or remodify or redesign a beach. And we're doing that with several beaches right now in Michigan, actually redesigning the beach in the way stormwater will flow to the water, or to the beach water, so we can mitigate these problems, because we want to have all of our beaches open all of the time.
So obviously technology and the advance of science and this monitoring has really helped over the last number of years here in Michigan. So what beaches have you started to target to try to change the system so we're not having those continual closures?
Right. In Michigan, we're able to monitor about 400 beaches, about 200 on the Great Lakes and 200 on inland lakes. And again, this is in cooperation with all the local health departments. So our local communities are really taking the lead on all of this, work. And after a few years, we've been able to kind of see patterns. And a rain event, a significant rain event, will cause beach closures across the state. And that makes sense. As the water comes on the land, it'll wash off into the streams, the creeks, and eventually out to the beach water. So that's kind of like a spike. We'll see that. That's a precipitation-driven beach closure. But then we have some other beaches that are kind of vulnerable to some of the impacts of contamination, and so we're working with communities to identify those sources of contamination and eliminate them, or in some ways mitigate them so that they're not causing these problems. So we're tracking probably 100 beaches that have some issues at times, and we're going to be working on them. Already we've addressed, in some way the local communities are working with about 25 of those beaches to fix them so that they are no longer vulnerable to the impacts of contamination.
And they're ready for people to come out and enjoy this summer. Thanks so much, Shannon, for joining me. I appreciate it.